sure feels good flying high. I never tell a secret that it's all a lie. The same old salesman, that's me. For whatever is ailing you, I've got the remedy. And I snake old salesman, that's me. And I snake old salesman, that's me.
Test, test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Wow, that's not even a tune, eh? Or is it? So you should be able to hear me, I think. I'm just testing something out here. Figured I'd come on this afternoon. I just got done shooting some video for some stuff that's releasing next week. And figure I'd jump on and test this new YouTube. Well, it's the new YouTube studio. I've been avoiding using the new platform, like the interface part of it. Still using the old one, but there's some changes to the new one, and I just wanted to make sure I knew how the hell everything was working. But looks like it's very different. I can show you a screenshot in a second here once we get some people in. But yeah, it's kind of weird. So let me just I'll just pause my preview because I don't want to be using up all the bandwidth, but that's fine. Yeah, it's a weird situation there, boy. Hope you guys are having a great Friday afternoon. I just got back from Toronto. I think it was late yesterday afternoon. I went to that photography and videography show downtown Toronto, which is always fun to venture downtown, but made it back alive. Let me see. Do we got everything? I think everything is coming through okay. Let me know if I need to turn up the sound on the mic or not, but I had to do some tweaking because this new YouTube interface is a little different, and I just wanted to make sure that I had it right. Bam, what's going on, Bam? See, this is a better time for you to join up on our streams because it's not. It's a good time for you in the zone that you're in. Who else? We got BB Made in here. How are you, BB Made? Hope you're doing well. Zach Thong, our regular. How are you doing? Fabulous Disaster. How's it going, brother? Sounds good. All right. Well, that's a good sign. Like I said, there are. I don't know what happened, but YouTube just basically, when you set up a live stream or you go to your channel, they want you to use the new studio, I guess they call it. And I was avoiding using it for many months since they've been advertising it or trying to push us to move over to that platform. But I got to start using it because I think it's going to be the default now. The old system's going out and this new system is being put in place. So since I use it for regular work as well, I guess I got to get used to it. So I'm trying it out, see if everything looks like it set up pretty easily. I still prefer the old way, but that's because I'm used to the old way. But this new platform system seems to be still working, but gonna have to get used to it. Brad Miller stopping by for a minute to say hi. Well, hello, Brad Miller. Mark, how's it going? Mark Taylor's in here. Hope you're doing well. I know you had a rough couple of weeks there with your mom's passing. I've sorry to hear that, and condolences to you and the rest of your family, brother. Hope you're doing okay. That's never easy to lose a loved one, especially when it's your mom. I dread the day that call comes for me, which will eventually come someday because we all get older, and when our time is up, our time is up. So hopefully she didn't suffer too much, and that she's in a good place. Let's see. All right. So I just got back. It was yesterday afternoon. I was on the show with Brian Stewart and those guys on Wednesday. It was the Live Wire show, so that was fun. I did that live from Toronto. I was in a hotel in Toronto, so they had tried to book me before, but I said, you know what? Let's do it when I'm in Toronto because the internet connection will probably be better than what I have at home. So just to make things a little easier, so we scheduled it for Wednesday, which we just got done doing. But yeah, I was down there in Toronto to do, it was a big videography and photography kind of expo and classes and a bunch of stuff. They do it every year. It's called Profusion. I did put up a video on my channel, just a quick recap of it and some B-roll, and kind of show you guys what's the deal and how those shows usually work. Pretty standard stuff. But yeah, it was cool. It was fun. The Toronto downtown is like, I don't know, man. I don't know how people live down there because it's so congested and crazy and construction everywhere. I mean, I saw a car, like in rush hour, it was insane. I got out of the convention around dinner time to go have dinner before going back to my hotel room on Wednesday, and this would have been around 5:30 in the afternoon, and the area that I was in was right down at the core of Toronto, right by the CN Tower and the Sky Dome and all that stuff. And I swear to God, man, like there was so many cars and people running around and stuff that if the light was red and then it turned green, I think 2 cars or 3 cars would go by because it was just jammed on the other side, so you couldn't go any further anyway. And then it would turn red again. So I think I saw a car, like he must have been there like a half an hour and he went like maybe, 50 feet, if that. It's crazy. So not somewhere that I would, I guess I'm not a big city guy as far as that goes. And it's weird because when I moved here in Toronto, I still remember it. I moved from a really small town that had, nothing compared to what's here in Toronto as far as population and city wise. It was really, really small. So it was pretty much a big culture shock for me to move down here. But when I remember when I moved down here, I was 20 or 21. And I was all about going downtown. I was downtown every day if I could. I was taking the subway to the first time I've ever taken a subway. And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And I'd go downtown and I'd go to all the shops. And they had a lot of, music stores and rock shops and bars. And, back then in 1990 and 91, when I first got to Toronto, it was quite different than what it is today as far as like there was more like rock venues and, it was live music and it was really, really cool. So I was down there all the time and it didn't bother me at all. And it was still congested and crazy as far as traffic and people, but it didn't bother me when I was younger for some reason. But now it's like, man, every time I hear I got to go down to Toronto for anything, it's like, oh shit, how am I going to do that? I don't want to go. But anyway, I go down once in a while because that's where all the stuff happens. If you're going to a show or if you're going to, you want to go and see something that's happening, like a sporting event or anything of that nature, you got to get down there. But I think the smartest way to go downtown Toronto is not to drive down there, but is to take. I think the airport is outside of Toronto a little bit. It's just north of Toronto, and they have like a train system thing that you can take right downtown and it has like I think 3 stops on the way, so it's really quick. It's about 20 minutes from the airport to get downtown, and it drops you off right at the Union Station, which is right in the center of everything, right where I went. So if I would have been smart, I would have just parked at the airport, took that train thing and went down, and then came back and just got my truck at the airport and came home, because the airport is, it's closer to me than what Toronto is. But yeah, I thought, I'm just going to drive my truck down there and no problem. And I was going like, it wasn't rush hour when I headed down there. It was around 10 a.m. or something when I left on the Wednesday morning. So I figured it'd be all right. But man, it doesn't matter what time of day it is down there. It's completely congested all the time. So that was fun. But the show was good, and I think as far as cameras and stuff, I didn't see anything that was mind-blowing. There's a couple of new things coming out that are really cool if you're into doing video stuff. There's a little camera. It's just a little cube type of thing, and it does some 4K, really high-end slow motion stuff. But it's pricey. I mean, but if that's your business and that's what you do, it's pretty impressive what that thing can do. And you can mount it on a gimbal a lot easier than you can these other cameras that I'm using now. So that was kind of cool. It's called the Z-Cam. If you guys want to check that out, it's called, it's pretty intense what it can do. This is and then I was just playing with the Helix earlier because I did like I said, I was recording video today for some releases that are happening next week for me. And this is doing the patches here for this R9. And I like it. I like the patch that I came up with. It's basically using a plexi. If I was in tune, it'd be... That's kind of the more gain part. This a little less gain. So a lot of fun. So you'll be seeing some videos coming out next week. I just finished filming I don't know if you guys saw the comparison video that I did that was released yesterday morning between the Sir Telecaster and the new Fender Ultra Telecaster. So basically went through like side by side as far as features of one and features of the other and what I thought of them and how I thought that they stacked up against each other, being that they're very different in price anyway. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's on the channel. So today I just finished recording. I'll be releasing that early next week is going through the pickups. So just basically doing a sound comparison. And again, and you know how I feel about listening to sound or sound demos on YouTube is not my favorite. I never really take anything away from those because I don't think they're very accurate. They give you a good sense of, approximate, but they're never accurate as far as what you hear when you go try it out yourself. But when you're doing a comparison between like two guitars or something, then at least it doesn't matter that YouTube will compress some of that sound or whatever. At least you'll be able to tell that one sounds differently than the other, and you can tell if one is brighter than the other or more mids or whatever. So for those types of videos, I think they're fine. But if I was to say, oh, here's my new Les Paul and this is how it sounds, just by itself and just run through some sounds, it'd give you like an approximate, but I still think that when you went and tried the guitar yourself and played it through your setup and everything, it would be much more accurate to, what it really is. Let's see. There's a couple more people jumped in. Hey, there you go. David Ennis is in here. What's going on, David? Pooh Ninja, how are you, Pooh? Just jumped in for a few minutes. That's cool. Trash Metal's in here. Haven't seen you. Well, I've seen you in the other streams, but Pooh Ninja says, I make different patches for all my guitars, basically the same, only EQ'd. Yeah, I do the same thing. So this patch is specifically, I use my Les Paul, the R9. I can use the R6 with P90s on this patch too, and it sounds pretty good, but I also make this patch more... I do a copy of this one and then I adjust it to be more with the P90s so I can go between guitars and just switch the patch accordingly. The Tele patch is very different than what this would be as well. And when I make my patches, I make them for what I like in sound. So, I want to play a Tele. I want a Tele to sound like a Tele, not like a shredding machine with tons of gain. Even though in my patches I always have a setting that has more gain, less gain, and then clean. But more specific to the guitars, I think. And sometimes some amp models work better with certain characteristics of a guitar and pickups. So when I do an amp model for the Gibson, I tend to use, most of the time I'll use either a Mesa Cali or a Marshall Plexi, which is what this is. Or sometimes I use the Friedman model, the BE. And then the Rev as well. The Rev is very good, but it's way more like high gain type of amps. So depends on what it is that I'm building as far as a patch. Let me just check something real quick. We've had a temperature change in Toronto. If you haven't, I don't know if where you guys are all from, but man, it went from fall to winter in pretty much 24 hours. It was insane. So my instruments are definitely feeling the change, because what happens is that the humidity basically, it changes like crazy. And then I pick up a guitar that was perfectly in tune a couple of days later, and everything is sharp like crazy because I think they're moving. So I give it a few weeks after we get into this type of weather, and then I take every guitar and I have a look and see if anything needs adjustments as far as truss rods, which they usually do. So, but I don't do it right away. I let them get used to the new environment. Let's see. We got R2 in here. How's it going? Popping in for a few minutes. Awesome. Hope you're doing well and that you don't have some crazy winter weather that you're dealing with as well. So that's that. What else was I wanting? Oh yeah, so the other thing that's going on now on YouTube, and everybody's going nuts again because YouTube is making a major change. They got fined like crazy by the FTC, I believe, is the organization, the government organization. YouTube got fined 192 million, I think, or something, and like it could be billion. I don't know. No, it must be million. But they got fined because they were, I guess, in violation of some law that was set, I guess, a couple of years back or whatever, saying that you can't market or can't track kids under 13 or something, and YouTube didn't have something in place, I suppose. So if somebody was under 13 or watching content, they were getting ads targeted to them, which meant that they were being tracked as far as where they were, location, all this other stuff, which is standard for all these platforms. They track, your IP, and they track all kinds of things. And if you're looking at something online, sometimes you'll notice that when you go on your next site, you'll see an ad for, like, if I'm looking at Gibson guitars or something, or I'm like, I do a lot, I'll go on my Facebook or whatever, and then all of a sudden I see all these ads for, your Gibson Les Pauls or music stores or whatever. Well, apparently they have a system in place that they're not supposed to do that type of stuff when it comes to children. So now they've made this blanket thing going on YouTube that as of December 10th, any content that is geared towards kids, I mean, if I had a gaming channel or something of that nature, I guess I would be more directly affected. Well, that's going to affect the creators of that type of genre greatly, because they won't be able to have targeted ads running on their videos, and which is how they make all their money. So that's going to cut their revenue by 85% apparently. So that's quite the hit. And the other thing is, if you have a channel, no matter if you have content for kids or not, you've got to go into your channel and specifically say my videos aren't targeted to kids, or if a video is targeted to kids, you have to mark it as targeted for kids so that YouTube has that registered. Because if you're found out to be, let's say you put a video out and you think it's not for kids or whatever, and you didn't put it in your settings or whatever, and then YouTube flags it or whatever, you can get fined $42,000 per video, and all your channel can be gone. Like, they can get rid of everything, and they can, it's quite crazy what it can do. So what I'm suggesting to people, especially in our community, guitar music related or whatever, is I can show you. Let me see. Go to your settings. Let me see. I'll go here. So this is a new platform by YouTube with the live streaming thing, but that's not what I want to show you. If I go to my channel, and then I go under settings, what you'll see here, when you go to channel, so settings, channel, go to advanced settings, and you'll see that it talks about audience here. And what you need to do, because by default it's going to be set to the third bullet here, which just says I want to review this setting for every video. I mean, unless you want to go through every video on your channel and adjust it per video, that's fine, but you're going to need to do that. For me, I don't have any videos on my channel that I'm targeting to kids specifically or anything. I don't age restrict my stuff, but I don't target it to kids. So what I suggest everybody do is to select the second button where it says, it says here on top, as what you're picking is, do you want to set your channel as made for kids? So you've got three options. I say select the no option, the middle one, where it says no, set this channel as not made for kids. I never upload content that is made for kids. And then basically hit save, and that's going to make all your videos on your channel with that setting. So for the most part, you should be safe from this new change that's going to be happening on December 10th, and you shouldn't be in violation of any policy of that type. But make sure if you're uploading, and then if you upload a video that is targeted to kids, like specifically you're making a video that is for 13 and under or whatever. So let's say you have your kid with you and you want to show, here's my kid playing, this is the best guitar riffs for kids or something, where it's actually targeted to kids. Make sure that video is set separately. So you'll go into the settings of that particular video, and you'll make it, this video is targeted to kids. So you really got to be specific about the content that you're creating and setting the proper parameters on each piece of content if you need to do that. If all your videos, you never want to target kids, you're just doing it as a general, like I am, which is basically just, it's not targeted to anybody under 13. So I don't care. I just put it, nothing is targeted to kids. The only issue that happens, I guess, that could happen with this, which would be a pain in the, is if I set that setting and I put out a video, and for some reason it's going through the YouTube system, and the YouTube system isn't perfect as far as when it comes to their algorithms, obviously, right? So if their algorithm picks up one of my videos and says, oh, look, Brian Cote's video or Six String Brian's video here seems to have something in it that might be targeted to kids, it can make that call. And if I set my whole channel to this, nothing on there is targeted to kids, and they find one that is, then they can put me in violation. And then I would probably have to submit an appeal and all. Like, it's just all over the place. I think it's such a friggin' pain what they're doing and how they're doing it. It's going to be a little bit of a learning curve moving forward. And I think they're going to have to make some huge adjustments, because already some big channels, because they had rolled this out, I guess, a few months ago, already testing it. And some pretty big channels out there with hundreds of thousands of subscribers have gotten hit already. And they lost all their comments, all their ad revenue, all kinds of stuff that's been happening. And these guys, if you go online and do a search for this topic or whatever, you'll see these guys, they made videos and talk about what they had to go through to try to get some of their content back. But their revenue is gone because they just can't use those ads anymore because they targeted to kids or some crazy formula that YouTube has to determine that stuff. So I thought I'd let you guys know that. I know a lot of us here have our own channels and have content. So if you do have a channel, definitely go into your settings in the YouTube studio thing there and select advanced and go, it's going to say audience, and select that middle one just to make sure you're not in violation of anything. Let's see. Poo Ninja says if you're in another country, you'll get different ads to, so that there are different ads that would be targeted to that country because they're watching. Yeah, you're tracked everywhere, right? So that's how they market to you specifically. Trash says, like, if you are kids channel or not, or we'll decide one vid at a time. Well, and that's the other thing. Like, you can have a channel that is completely not geared to kids, but you might make a video down the road that just that video is targeted to kids. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing a video that's targeted to kids, but you're going to have to make sure in your settings that you have it properly tagged to show YouTube that this video is marketed to kids. So, and then they review it and then they see what it is. Let me change my camera back. Let's see. Alex Radford, how are you? Nice to see you, brother. Janice Lala. I'll be watching the replay. That's okay. I just jumped in here last minute because I was recording a bunch of video, like I said earlier. Some content coming out, so we're going to have the tone differences between the Sir Telecaster and the Fender Ultra. That's going to be coming probably, I'd say, Monday, Tuesday, somewhere around there. And then I've got another video either coming out next week that's going to be featuring the Les Pauls. More specifically, like you'll see in the video, but it's geared around the Les Paul stuff. And I'll be trying some different stuff moving forward, putting out more content here that we're in the season of indoorsness. In the summer, I go outdoors more often, and I ride my motorcycle and stuff, so I have less time available to do content creation. So I take advantage of fall and winter to do a lot of my content creations, as far as, you know, one-off videos, songs, music, whatever it is, right? Let me see. Is there anything I'm missing? Yeah, if you got a question, tag me for sure, because this new chat window as well is different. It's like very dark, but it's okay. I don't mind it. It's not too bad. Better late than never. What's up? Hey, Bearded Blues dude. What's going on, brother? Let's see. When I don't know how it looks on YouTube, but is it smooth as far as, like, if I'm playing here, is it choppy? Is it, because I'm seeing on my monitor here, and it's just my preview. It could just be the preview, but what's going out to YouTube might be fine. It seems like it's a little choppier or something. Let me know if it's okay. R2 is starting a nudity channel. Well, you could start a nudity channel or whatever channel you want. Just make sure that you have it marked in your settings that it's not for kids. The video I put out on Tuesday morning, it's more of the I guess review of the Fender Ultra. It's doing well. It's one of my better videos. I'm surprised. I guess probably because it's a hot topic right now. Fender and the Ultra series, I guess, is getting a lot of attention online. So I think if you tag your videos properly, you can get more traction, because I've already got like 400 and some views on it, which is good for me, because I usually don't get that many views, especially early on in a release of a video. So Zach says video is very smooth. Okay, good. It must just be when I look at it on the preview here, as far as my monitor, it just kind of looks choppy, but that's probably just this part of it. Not choppy. The preview window is maybe low quality. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. I've been having a few issues with my software, my streaming software. For the most part, it works good, but there's a few little features on it that should work a lot better, like doing picture-in-picture. If I wanted to do like the desktop and then my video feed, what you're seeing right now on the bottom, like a little square window, for some reason it works, but my video feed, when I put it in picture, then that's really choppy and all over the place, and it actually comes across on YouTube that way, because I've done a test and just to go look at it, I don't know why it does that. So it must be something weird, but anyway, there's multiple software that you can use when you're streaming. I'm using the one that, it's called Live Studio, and if you have a Vimeo account, you can download the software and use it, and it's more of a professional grade software, so it has a lot more of the switching that professional broadcasters would use and stuff, which is why I like to use it, because I use similar stuff for work, and it's good to always try to learn new software that's professional base, as well as far as the features and the operation of it. But it does have its quirks, and I've used Wirecast, which is really good, but it had some stuff, sometimes it would work well and sometimes some things wouldn't. I've used OBS as well. OBS, I was okay with it, but I thought there was many limitations that some of these other softwares don't have. So it's trying to find that perfect one, right? The one that can do everything that you want to do and do it well. That's the challenge. But you have to try different things and experiment and test, and at some point you get good at something or using something. Dwight Bailey, what's going on, Dwight? Let's see. As far as the show that I went to in Toronto, the videography show and stuff, I didn't buy anything other than this thing, and I'll do an unboxing maybe on Monday or something. I don't know if you guys can see that. There it is. And basically what this is, it's a microphone system. It's like the Rode mic, that little thing that I showed you. Let me grab it. So this is the setup, obviously. Like I showed you guys this a few weeks ago, the little rig that I'm putting together for when I go to NAMM and things, right? There it is. And the way that I'm using the Rode microphone, like this little thing here is this is the receiver. And then I have another one of these little clip things that I put on me. Like that's how I did it when I went to Toronto and I was doing the recap of the show. I had one of these on my collar here, and this was on. Then you can get good audio going into your GoPro, even though there's a lot of noise in the convention hall or something. You're doing well. But the limitation with the Rode one is that it's only one. So there's this and then your mic. So if I was doing an interview with somebody, I would have to figure a way out to like hand him that thing and go back and forth, and it could be a little bit of a hassle. So what I found at the show, and a lot of people were talking about that this was a good thing, a good brand and a good unit, was this thing, which is basically what the Rode is. It's a small form factor, but it gives you two transmitters, so basically two microphones. So I could have one, and I could have give one to the person that I'm interviewing, and then it has one receiver that you would put on your camera, which is what I'm doing here with the Rode. So you've got the Rode, so that I would use that other one that I just bought and put it on this thing. and then both me and the person that I'm interviewing would have a mic. It'd be a lot better for audio quality, and this is really small as far as the form factor. So I'm looking forward to trying this out. Like I said, I'll unbox it and everything, and give you guys a review of how it is. I bought it at the show because at the show you always get some specials. I think this was like 40% off of the regular price for the duration of the show, and they cost about $300 for the kit. But like I said, they were on special, so let's see. Yeah, there we go. So I already and I just thought that this would probably be the best way to go if you're going to be running around at some event or something, and you do want to have more than one person on microphone. Then this would probably work well. The Rode works fine for if it's just me and I have my mic and I'm walking around giving you commentary or doing a review of a booth or something of that nature. The Rode works fine, but it's only for one microphone. So there's workarounds. You can kind of use the one that it comes with and put it on a stick type of thing, and you can hold it like an interviewer would. But it's better just to put a mic on somebody and you have your own mic, and that way you get a lot better audio. So that's the only thing that I picked up when I was at the show as far as product. Let me go back here. Just going in. Dwight Bailey, we saw it. Dwight jumped in. Cool. Waiting for the bucket truck to warm up. Oh, okay. So you're at work. I don't know if Ben got his internet yet or not, because I know he's been waiting to get his internet figured out over at his new house. So I hope he got that figured out. It'd be good, because then he'll have a good connection and he can do, streaming in regular bandwidth, which I can't. So you'll notice that my stream tops out at 360. I could probably go to 480 with my connection and still be okay, but I've tested it with this 360 and it seems to work better. Again, my connection is super slow. It's less than a meg up, so when you've got that to work with, you've got limitations. But again, I always tell people that no matter what the limitations are that you have, just make it work for you if you can, because if you just sit there and go, well, I can't do it because it's going to be too slow and the quality is going to be a lot lower than what others are doing, and then you just don't do it, then I think it's better to just do it anyway and get out there and create and do some stuff that you want to do. And if you have a limitation of bandwidth, then you just adjust accordingly and until your bandwidth situation improves, and you can improve if you want to stream at 1080p. When I do release videos though, like the not live streaming but just regular videos, I do release those as full resolution 1080p, because then I just have to upload the video. But when you're live streaming, you're really dependent on that upload speed. It makes a huge difference. So you got to be careful with that. Otherwise, your stream just won't work, or it'll be really bad for your viewers, because your viewers will be buffering everything, and it's just not a good experience. And that's the key, is you want your experience for your users to be the priority, if anything. So, and I finally got this thing to work. Does it work? Let's see. Yeah, there you go. For the longest time, I was setting my camera to manual focus and just focusing it and leaving it there. But if I went out too far of the shot or whatever, it would lose focus, obviously, because it's not auto-focusing. And so when I was at the show yesterday, I was talking to the Sony guys and saying, is that a limitation or whatever? But since the latest software, firmware release that came out on the camera that I'm using, they've incorporated some new features, which one of them is that you can, without pressing record on your camera, because I'm just streaming the feed and then going into my computer and then showing it to you guys. Without doing that, then you could do the live, like the focus thing. If you do this, right, and if I go back, and it should focus. So that way, and you don't have to be recording in order for that to work. It used to be you had to be recording, and then that autofocus would work like that. But now with the new setup that they've done in their new firmware, I guess, the new Sony cameras, you don't have to have that feature. That it'll work without recording. You can just stream and have the autofocus work, which is nice, because if you're showing a product like I was just doing, if you take something like this, you want to be able to, for your camera to focus in on that, right? Like that. And then if you pull it away, you want it to go back to you. automatically. So I know all the webcams do that, but these professional cameras where you've got a separate lens and everything, they're just a little bit more. There's certain things that need to be happening in order for that to work when you're live streaming. If you're just shooting video, like if I take that camera and I go shoot video or something, it all works as it should. But when you're live streaming and you're just taking the feed from the HDMI out, there's certain things that you need to enable in your camera to make it work now. But Sony's got to figure it out. So that's a good thing, and it seems to be working okay. And as far as the show, I mean, Sony had the biggest booth there as far as camera companies I found. If you haven't seen, I put a video out there, like I mentioned a little earlier, that gives you a quick recap of the show, which is just kind of running through the exhibit or the expo and then showing you how that looks and then giving you my opinion after. But I found that the camera companies, some of the camera companies are really struggling as far as sales right now, like Nikon, Olympus, Fuji's not too bad, but I think Nikon and Olympus are in trouble because their camera sales are going down, and companies like Nikon and Canon just they waited way too long to go into the mirrorless world, and Sony has been taking all their business, and now they've released some mirrorless cameras in the last year and a half or so they're trying to get in the game, but they might have waited too long. So it's cheaper than paying a camera guy. Yeah, absolutely. If you can get your autofocus stuff to work and it does it automatically and it does it well, which the Sony cameras really do well. Some cameras have that feature and then it takes forever for it to focus, or it focuses on the wrong thing. With the Sony cameras, for the most part, all the latest ones anyway, they have great face detect and eye detection focus, like automatic. So once you put that in the setting, it knows that there's a person or a face or something, and it'll focus on that. So even if I move, it won't focus on what's in back or whatever. It keeps it on the person or on your eye. And they seem to be doing that the best out of everybody in the industry. They're kind of leading that. So Canon has a really good autofocus system as well. But like I said, the Sony stuff is really upping the game. But they're not cheap. Oh my God, some of the new cameras that come out lately, wow, they're up there in price as far as professional stuff. But when you consider what they used to cost back 2 years ago for the same technology, I guess they've gone down. But Lefty Mike, what's going on? Guitar Hack, what's going on, Guitar Hack? You must be just done work or something, right? 3:30, yeah. I don't know what time you finish work. Hope you get your PRS soon. Nice guitar, so that should be fun. That was the two pickups together. Then you go to the bridge. I always like the neck pickup. These are the best pickups I've ever heard on a guitar, bar none. I've tried many things in the last, a couple of years now since getting back into it, and I haven't found a guitar that has better sounding pickups than this thing. These, whatever they're custom buckers or whatever they are, the PAF ones, it's just unreal. For me, anyway, they are. It's the articulation in them that really gets me. Like, every string is just balanced and equal and rings out perfectly. And then the other thing is that they're not super high output, so they're really controllable as far as like when when you turn down the knobs, like as far as the volume, they react, like the dynamics are just amazing. Yeah, so if all my guitars had these pickups and this neck, I think I would have no problem. It would be like let's make our ideal guitar, our signature guitar, right? For me, it would be. It doesn't have to be the Les Paul body. I do love the Les Paul body look, but the two main things for me is the neck and these pickups. For me, if I can have those features, that's where my sweet spot is for guitars. Like that Tele that I bought, that Ultra Tele is an amazing guitar, and that neck is really good, but it's so different than this. And not that I don't like that other neck, like the Tele neck, I do like it, and for what it is, and for when I pick up that guitar, the style that I play with it or whatever, it works awesome. But man, when I pick up this thing, this is where the comfort is. This neck is awesome. Know any doors? I know. Something like that. There you go. But I find that song is way better when you put some more kick in it. Or if you don't want that much gain, you can just know any Cynic tune? Cynic? I don't know that. Let me check something here. Little less gain on there, but it's these pickups, man. They're right on. Have a great day, R2. Let's see. That's what I was hearing in the tone, yeah. Every time I play the Doors song, I remember playing it live for many years, obviously on bass, but we always played a heavier version of it, and folks really like that. So I always thought it sounded better at that, with that kind of tone and that more attitude behind it. This be a good tone for Kiss, I think. Oh, David Ennis, did you get your headphones? Awesome. Yeah, that's what I'm wearing right now. The status or status, whatever they're called. I don't know how you pronounce it. I think it's status. But yeah, they are awesome, right? For that price, you're not going to get a better set of headphones, I don't think. Not that I'm aware anyway, from everything I've tried, and I've got a couple of sets that are pretty high end, and this right on par. And as far as the comfort of these headphones, they are the best I've ever had. Usually when I put a set of headphones on, after about 40 minutes or so, I start to get like, I don't know if it's the pressure on the ears or how they fit, but these ones, they fit me perfectly for that, and they're very comfortable. I can wear these for hours on end and not have an issue. So glad you enjoy your new headphones, David, and I'm glad I was able to give you the heads up on them. Because yeah, if anybody else is looking for headphones, and again, I'm not endorsed or haven't been given anything by this company, but I just by using it, I can say, yeah, they're making a great product. So definitely, I think you can get them on Amazon. Well, if you go to their website, I think it's just type in Google Status, STATUS, and just put audio or headphones or whatever, and it'll come up. And then there's a buy button there. When you go to buy button, I think it goes right to Amazon. But yeah, I ordered them, and within 2 days or whatever, they were here. And in Canada, I think they're about maybe $80 or $90 or something like that. But in the States, they're even cheaper than that. I don't know what you paid, David, but I think when I saw the U.S. price was around $50 or $60, and Jesus, for that price, these things could be like $500. They're really that good. So if you're looking for a good set of headphones, check it out. Phil Mosley, how's it going, brother? So Guitar Hack, you didn't put into the chat at whether or not... I think you said it yesterday for your PRS. I wasn't sure when you were getting it. I think you said they ordered it, right? So if they did, then you should be getting it in a few weeks, I suppose. Phil, you must have just got up. I don't know what time is it in Phil Mosley land. It must be the morning. Let's do some Guitar Hack music. I used to know that song. Really butchering that, but I thought I knew it. What do we got? What do we got here? You were rehearsing. Oh, okay. Phil Mosley was just rehearsing. I thought it said relaxing. This new chat window, man, is like weird to get used to because it's all background is black, the text is white, and it's really weird. And some of you guys that are joining us late, and I know Guitar Hack specifically, you should change something on your channel because YouTube is making some crazy changes. And if you don't, you could risk losing all your videos and actually get some crazy fine or something. So let me go to that screen and I'll show you guys that have just jumped in here what you have to do to your YouTube channel to kind of protect yourself against this new law that's coming up into effect on December 10th. That's going to affect the YouTube platform greatly. And it's around kids content, so they can't advertise to kids. And there's a bunch of stuff you can read up on it if you want online. There's a lot of content on there now, and a lot of YouTubers have already made videos regarding this as far as the information. But let me go to my screen and I'll show you what you need to do to your channel to kind of limit the issues happening to you. So if you go to your YouTube channel, you should see it. It looks something like this, right? So you've got all your videos, your dashboard, and all that stuff. If you go under settings, just click on settings, and then you'll see this box come up, and then you go to channel. And then when you're in channels, select advanced settings. And under here, you'll see, do you want to set your channel as made for kids? What you want to do is hit the middle bullet here where it says no, set this channel as not made for kids. I never upload content that's made for kids. Select that and then hit save. And that what that will do is it'll mark all your videos that are on your channel as not for kids, which is the key here because YouTube is going across, and any videos that are not, if you didn't mark that, then they would assume that it's okay for kids, or that it's geared or it's marketed to kids. And then what they will do is they remove any ad money that you're making or targeted money for kids. Like, it's really a little bit complicated, but just trust me, if they find out that you're putting out videos and they're not for kids and they are marked as being okay for kids, you're going to just delete your whole channel and all your videos and everything. And if you are putting videos that are made for kids for some reason, I don't know, like if you did a video and it was targeted for kids, you have to basically go to that video and go to the settings in that video and mark it specifically saying, yes, it's for kids. That way it'll be okay. But the ads that you will get, like targeted ads where you really make money, like if you have a big channel or whatever and you get targeted ads on that channel, they won't be like, you won't be making as much money, but at least some of the ad money will still be going to you. And if you don't, then you'll get nothing, and they could delete all your channel. And it's really crazy. Another one of those YouTube fun stuff. So let me go back to my camera. So people like Guitar Hack, Phil Mosley, anybody else in here that has channels, you're definitely going to want to do that. And hopefully that alleviates any problems moving forward that YouTube might send your way, because it's just crazy what's happening right now. And forget about making money, because some of the larger channels have already gotten all their ad revenue stripped because some of their videos are targeted to kids or whatever, and it doesn't have to be targeted to kids. It could be a video of you just playing a video game, and YouTube will see that as a game, and they'll say, oh, kids are going to be interested in this video, so we have to hit our restrictions on that video now, even though it's not directly targeted to kids. But if you're a gamer or whatever, that kind of content. So it's really vague, and YouTube is going to run into some serious issues because a lot of the screening on each video is done with computers. So it's like an algorithm that goes through and actually filters, and that's how they know about copyright claims and all these other things. But that computer sometimes is wrong, especially when it gets into this type of stuff where it says, oh, this video is not okay for kids, or this one is, and it's all over the place. There's going to be some crazy stuff that's happening in the next couple of months as they roll out this new system. So just to be safe, guys, if you do have a channel, do the steps I went through, and that should at least alleviate most of your problems when it comes to this particular subject. Lefty Mike says, Brian, do you ever roll your tone knobs off Yes, I always roll off about 6 to 7 on my junior. I don't roll off that much, but I do a little bit. It depends on the style. Like right now, this is completely clean, so it's not really a good example. But if I went to my dirt channel, I'll sometimes do that, you know. So there's this full. And that's rolled off a little bit. So sometimes I'll do that depending on the song that I'm playing, or if I need a certain amount of dynamics or whatever. What I do like to do, though, is when I go to the center position where I have both pickups going, like this, I like to roll off the neck a little bit and keep the bridge full. So this is how it sounds full, like both volumes up all the way. But now I kind of like to roll off a little bit, and that gives it a little bit more high-end bite to it. But I typically play a lot on the bridge, unless I'm playing clean. If I'm playing clean, I'm usually on the neck or in the middle position, for the most part. The link is black. The page is white. We are not role models for your kids. Yeah, exactly. We're not role model for your kids. It all has to do with the tracking of the kids, and they're not allowed to do that at a certain age, so they can't target ads to kids, and it's kind of protecting them. But it's really, how they're doing it is really convoluted. I don't know how they're going to manage that, but. Ding. That's my wife sending me a message saying she'll be a few minutes late. And there's Daniel Horsley. How's it going, buddy? Back here, after I put the hot rails in the bridge of my Strat and wired a tone to it, I used a tone quite a bit to take it. Okay. Yeah, you can get a lot of variations if you start using your tone and your volume on your guitar, because I remember I saw an interview with Joe Bonamassa, and he says, he's going through some stuff, and he's talking about his sound and how he doesn't rely on pedals, and he plugs into an amp, and he sets his amp to his liking, but all his tone comes from, you know, rolling off the tone or the volume for certain songs or for certain dynamics. And he's, you know, he was going through some examples, and he says this one guitar can be multiple palettes of sounds just by doing those few things. So definitely experiment with that. I find some guitars better as far as the tone pots and things that are installed in them. Some are, you know, better as far as the reactive type of feel to them, and, you know, how much you have to roll off and to really see a difference or harshness or whatever. But, you know, when you have a high quality pots or, you know, controls on your guitar, you can really control that, you know, just by little increments or whatever to make a big difference to your sound. So definitely play with that when you're playing around and searching for different tones. And then we've got our super heavy. So that's a little bit more gain. And that's just using, I am using a Plexi amp model in my Helix with it's called a Minotaur. It's a kind of a distortion drive pedal simulation in front of it on my Helix. So when I go just to my regular, like, less gain, like that, which is just, you know, just like that. That's just, you know, regular rock and roll type of gain, you know, AC/DC, that type of thing. That I'm just using the amp model and the drive built in on the amp, so the gain on the amp itself. I'm not using any overdrive pedal in front of it or anything of that nature. But when I go into my more high gain metal setting, I keep the drive pretty much where it's set on my amp for this tone, maybe a little bit more, and then I kick in that Minotaur pedal. You know, getting more of that kind of edgier sound, I guess you would call it. Nice and thick. Let me see. Audio taper versus linear taper. What is that? Audio gives you a better taper, I think. I'm not sure, Lefty Mike. I don't know everything about these when it comes to the electronics and the guitars, I'm not the best person to be. I think Dave Ars is the guy you need to be talking to about that stuff. He seems to know a lot about it. So definitely check him out when he's got streaming and stuff. If you got questions regarding that stuff, it's he's your best contact for that. Even at a high gain, when you control your volume, it's like, so it is 4:08. If you have any last questions, put them in there now, and I will get to them. If not, I think I will call it a day. This was just an impromptu live stream afternoon break after shooting a bunch of videos. I was already set up for this, so I figured let's go with it. And then I saw that YouTube changed the whole interface for going live here on my channel, so I figured, well, I better give this a good run through because I don't want to wait till the last minute and then have a Monday night show or something at work that I need to use the system and not ever having used it, figuring it out at the last minute. It's not the best, not your best solution when you're doing this for a living. So it looks like it works okay. It is a different feel. So like anything, you've got to get used to the new layout and where everything is. And hopefully the features that you were using are still there. They just might be in a different location. So check it out if you're doing any live streaming and using the YouTube channel stuff. It is changed a little bit. If yours doesn't change, it will, because I think by December it's default to this new studio interface. So, but again, remember, go to your settings in your YouTube channel and go to the advanced settings under audience and change that. Select the middle option, which is no, my content isn't geared for kids or something. I can't remember exact wording there, but select that and then hit save. That way it's going to put that on all your videos. And then when the new regulation is in place on December 10th, your channel should be okay. Nothing's guaranteed. If the algorithm goes through your channel and finds something that's geared to kids and you're marketing it and you marked it as not, they could say something, but we'll have to wait and see how that all rolls up. I know that a lot of channels, bigger guys, are really complaining about this thing right now. So it'll be an interesting couple of months as they roll out these new changes to YouTube. As far as making money on YouTube moving forward, it's going to be real difficult. So you got to find different ways other than ads, because the ads are not going to be targeted as much, and the targeted ads are the ones that are paying the most as far as, clicks per minute or whatever it is, how they judge your income off of ads. So if you just put any type of ad on there, it's not a targeted thing, you get less money for those. So, but that's not an issue for me because I'm not monetized or anything of that nature, and I'm okay with that. So, but anybody who is and is looking to make some money off of YouTube, there's going to be some stuff that's going to affect them. So even the bigger guys are probably pissed off right now, because especially if you make your income you doing this, I don't know, like Robert Baker and those guys, if that's all they do, and they focus on this type of system to make their monthly income or whatever it is that they do, this is going to affect everything. So It is what it is. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm sure there's some shows going on this weekend that we'll probably see each other in the chats. Like I said, I just recorded a bunch of video today. I'll be doing some editing on that stuff and getting that ready to be released next week. Specifically the one that compares the Sir and the Fender Ultra. I've already put out the video that compares both guitars as far as like how they're built and the features of them. So this next video will be just the tones. So going through the pickups, here's how this one sounds and here's how this one sounds. So you can at least see that there's a difference. And then I've got some Les Paul videos coming as well. So I've got to do the editing on those ones. And Monday night, 7 o'clock, regular show. And I hope to see everybody there. And I think that's pretty much it. So until the next time, folks, get out there, play some guitar, and we will see you soon. All right? Take care. Bye-bye.